Hi again, I'm Sakha from TBG AI Enrichment, and I'm generated using the latest TBG workflows for WAN 2.2 and Vibe Voice. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to the newest features in our TBG Enhanced Upscaler and Refiner Pro. After our previous tutorial on insane image upscaling, turning even the most complex human world builds into high-resolution masterpieces, we got a lot of questions about how to achieve high denoise upscaling without seams, especially in uniform color areas. So today, we'll dive into the new features in the latest version, focusing on Pro-Fusion Denoise and Adaptive Denoise through complexity maps. Let's get started. Here's a common issue you might encounter when performing high denoise upscaling. Tiles can sometimes show color shifts or seams, especially in areas where nothing much is happening in the image. To solve this, we previously introduced Pro-Fusion Denoise, which can be a bit tricky to understand at first. The slider works like this. From 0 to 1, it works like in-paint-based denoising, smoothing details naturally. From 1 to 2, it intensifies the fusion at tile borders. Raising this value up to 2 effectively sets border fusion to off. In most cases, simply setting it to around 1.5 is enough to remove seams while keeping your image smooth and natural. And that's it. Using Pro-Fusion Denoise correctly can solve those tricky seam issues in uniform areas without compromising detail. Next, we'll also explore Adaptive Denoise with complexity maps, which helps you fine-tune denoising based on image complexity for even better results. Let's move on and see it in action. We've created several standalone takeaway nodes that you can now use separately, all fully integrated into TBG's Upscaler. These include image complexity map, mask hard blend, mask multiply 0 wins, complexity mask to denoise, and complexity mask to denoise min max. The input image shows a crowd of people on both sides and a white area in the middle. As an example, we add a border map. We then pass the image to the complexity mask node, which generates a black and white map where the white areas represent the crowded sections. Next, we feed this into the denoise min max node, which allows us to set, for example, a low denoise for the black areas and a maximum denoise for the white areas. We can multiply these values and also invert the map by swapping the min and max settings. This result is then sent to the mask multiply 0 wins node, ensuring that all black values are preserved in the combined map. The mask hard blend node cuts off the affected fusion borders with solid white, applying full denoise. Finally, we can add sensitivity and blur adjustments, giving you more flexibility when testing your upscales. You can find these nodes in the latest GitHub release, and you can easily use them by plugging them into the in-paint node as a mask. Like I mentioned earlier, let's go ahead and see them in action. Back in the TBG Enhanced Upscaler and Refiner workflow, we've added these new functions directly to the refiner. If we leave them at the default settings off with high denoise at 0.8, you can see the flux model gets confused, adding colored seams because the white surface provides very little information for it. Using the multi-sampler can make this even worse. Let's take another look at the result. It's basically unusable. To fix this, we start by lowering the fusion mask intensity, setting fusion denoise to 1.5. Remember, 1 is full denoise, 2 is off, and values between 0 and 1 work differently, like lowering denoise in the center of the image. We run it and wait a bit, and now the result is much better. In most cases, this resolves the issue, but the borders are still grayed out rather than fully white. That's where the complexity map comes in. We set the strengths to 1 for the lowest denoise in areas without activity and 0.5 for the rest, which basically means it takes the denoise value from our previous setting, 0.8. You can also adjust the blur value depending on your personal preference. I'll keep it at 0, but let's test 1. Now the white border stays white while the center shows heavy changes. This might be too extreme, but it's useful for clearly seeing the effect. For actual upscaling tasks, the denoise is too high here, so setting it to 0.5 or lower gives you much more control and lets you experiment freely with these settings. Be aware that if you set the fusion denoise to 2, you'll disable generative fusion and end up with the same kind of seams you already know from Ultimate SD Upscaler. To avoid this, keep it enabled or lower the denoise value and switch to soft merge. For the final 1.08 release, we've decided to simplify the refiner settings to a single multiplier and move the fine-tuning options into the enrichment pipe, which also comes with some ready-to-use presets for those who don't want to use the pipe directly. Around the same time, Apple released the Fast VLM. As you know, this is a research-only tool, but if you have the node installed in Comfy UI, the option to use this model will be enabled in the tiler. That's all for now in terms of updates and news about the Node Pack. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated. You can support us on Patreon, and all the nodes, including the upcoming version 1.08, will be available soon on GitHub. Keep an eye out! Phew, that was something! My first public gig as the TBG AI speaker. Ka estre! But don't worry, I promise I won't start adding colored seams to your images. Yet.